Greetings and welcome to this week's Midweek update on the 17th of June. We have a handful of things to share. There's a lot going on currently within parish life, and the first, obviously, is within our entire our reopening efforts. It's been a delight to see an increase of our parishioners coming to Mass. This past weekend, we had a 75 parishioner capacity for Mass, and we were seating in the center four sections of our church seating. And it's getting a little more full. It's feeling a little more normal in that regard. But it's still, a long ways from our full worship. However, it is kind of going smoothly as we have anticipated. And we would like to increase our attendance next weekend just by an additional 25 people, so that our weekend masses would be suitable for 100 attendees at Mass. We think this is very approachable in the sense that there was plenty of space among the sections of pews for 75 people to space out pretty evenly across the church. And one of the other elements that we're considering within this gradual and safe reopening is the comfort level of the parishioners who are in attendance, but also the ability for our volunteers at the masses to feel that we're kind of in control of the things that are occurring as we come back in his presence. And so I would say that's being achieved. Even though our number is at 100, we're operating currently under the direction of the bishop to the permission of 30% of maximum occupancy. So that number is 285. But with our Mass, even with 75, we had about 3 Masses that hit that mark and a few others that were quite less than that. So it still means that there's space available, but we just want to keep, increasing that slowly so that we get into kind of a good rhythm and continue to open the doors more widely. Within the consideration of those parishioners who have not yet been able to be back at Mass yet, there's a number of reasons for this. I was speaking with someone today who was indicating to me that they just need to make that step. They're sure it's okay. They haven't even been out shopping in weeks. So some of those personal boundaries of uncertainty are still present. If you find yourself in that position, I have a couple of things for you to consider. First, we have our daily masses, so 6:30 a.m. and 8 a.m. And what that would afford you is the openness of the church on a daily mass level within a smaller scale, so that maybe it would be more approachable to you to kind of see how the church is laid out, to kind of see how the parishioners move, to see the kind of the guidelines and distancing and protocols that we have in place. And then that will take kind of one segment of the cloud of uncertainty out of your mind, because you've seen the place and you see how people move within it, and that may be a peace of mind for you. You could also consider that same approach for some of our Sunday Masses as well. There's a few of our Sunday Masses that are times that are not customary for us to have Mass, and so those Masses have been significantly lower in attendance. So kind of on the same principle, you'd be able to come into to a Mass, there'd be some people there, but not many people. You kind of see how things are laid out and you could move forward. So just a little bit of encouragement, again, not to be pushy, but to kind of give the invitation. It's important for us to be connected as a family of faith and worship together. We don't want to be putting anybody at risk. if anybody has an existing condition or is older, we don't want to put them at risk, right? If you're so kind of burdened mentally, or you get kind of really nervous kind of in those public settings, then maybe it's not the time for you yet. However, those few opportunities are daily masses, and a few of our Sunday masses. You can check how many people are signed up in a mass through the online sign up. Those would be opportunities to be approachable, to kind of ease in to coming back to Mass. So I'd encourage that for you, for your well-being, and it may give you an unexpected peace of mind as well. So those are my thoughts there. There has been some question regarding masks and what you are to do in church. There's been a few different things communicated, and I just wanted to clarify that. So within your attendance at Mass, it's expected that as you enter church and as you exit church, especially, that you're wearing your masks. And even while you are seated within the congregation during Mass. Some people have masks that bother them, so maybe adjusting that, but to have your mask on would be appropriate and expected. So just trying to follow the guidelines there and keep everyone safe. But also it's a peace of mind thing as well. You know, sometimes uh, someone disregarding the protocol can cause a distraction in prayer for those who are present, but also to do that for this time would be appreciated. Okay. Next, I want to talk about the many transitions that are going on in our office right now. So, summer is traditionally a time where things are less busy and you're able to kind of make some of the changes within parish life, some of the practical changes, the housekeeping things that you aren't able to under the let's say pressure of the high pace of the regular season, right? We're in the off season right now, kind of, and so some people are moving offices, some personnel are coming in, some are going out, et cetera, et cetera. So just wanted to speak about that for a moment because word gets out fast in the Catholic Church, I tell you, especially within the communities where we're still closely connected and fed. So we have 4 people who are stepping back from our parish office: Laura Keene, Karen Stanton, Peggy Wolney, and Kathy Meyer. So first thing, a huge thank you for all that they've done. If you know them, if you're friends with them, thank them. You know, on my behalf certainly, but on behalf of the entire parish. All of these women have worked differently but diligently and sacrificially for the sake of the many events within the life of the parish. So each employee has a kind of a different situation, obviously, on why they're stepping back, and they're not all out of the office right now at this point, but are transitioning out. So a huge thanks to them. Next, I'd like to talk about some of the transitions that we'll be looking at within our parish office and within our parish as a whole over the course of the next several weeks. First, kind of the biggest transition, we received our official assignments from the Diocese of Rockford, and we found out that Father Juan will be stepping away from Saints Peter and Paul so as to become administrator, the head of Sacred Heart Parish in Aurora. So that's very exciting news for him and for his priestly journey. Sad news for us because of the good work that he's been doing within our parish over the past several years, and the great investment that he's had and the close connections that he's made as parochial vicar here for Hispanic ministry. So our prayers go with Father Juan. It's a bit unfortunate that were restricted from large gatherings during this time, because otherwise we would have kind of a more public recognition or celebration or farewell for him. But we'll have a few small gatherings of close parishioners and staff to thank Father Juan and to send him on his way to Aurora with our prayers and with our love. So if you know Father Juan, if you've worked with him, if you see him, be sure to thank him and to continue to pray for him during this time of transition. Already, I can tell his imagination is being set upon some of the new things that are present and waiting for him. His start date in Aurora will be July 1st, so it's coming very quickly, and that transition will be here way before we know it. So our next question would be, are we having a priest coming in to replace Father Juan? And the answer to that question is yes. We will have Father Domingo Jaramillo transferring in from St. Joseph Parish in Elgin to fill that position of associate and head priest for Hispanic ministry within our parish. And I'm very excited to get to know Father Domingo a bit better. He is from Venezuela. He is newer to our diocese, and the Venezuelan priests are kind of a new addition over the course of the past several years to the Diocese of Rockford, and they're just wonderful priests. And so it's a neat consideration when you think of priests from outside of the United States serving our parishioners. We closely connect their cultural connectivity as well. And so there are many parallels within the Catholic culture of Venezuela and the Catholic culture of Mexico. And so I'm excited to have further conversation with Father Domingo regarding those parallels and to kind of getting to know that better as well on how the Venezuelan and Mexican Hispanics mix together in the sense of cultural parallels. So I've heard great things and have had several conversations with Father Juan already about how that looks. But I'm kind of excited on an international level on how that comes together. Just a quick word about Hispanic ministry in general. It's a wonderful gift to have such an active Hispanic community within our own parish. And many times when people ask about our Hispanic ministry and what we're doing together, there's always the interest in bringing our parish population together. And I would say that happens, and we're growing to do that more and more in different ways. But it's also a thing where there are many pockets within the life of the parish naturally. So the parents in our preschool and first grade, for example, and kindergarten, they're kind of closer to one another than our school parents in our junior high, for example, or our religious ed families and school families, or empty nesters or retirees. So there's a lot of pockets within our parish life, and I consider Hispanic ministry to be one of those pockets in that sense. And there are natural ways and opportunities for our parishes to overlap. But in one sense, part of the reason that there is a type of separateness is to preserve those foundational traditions from their Catholic homeland and to keep them alive here within the Protestant nation of the United States, within our Catholic family. So there's a huge openness on my part and on the Hispanic leadership part to kind of bring parish life together. So don't you worry. We'll keep making those opportunities available. And Spanish Mass is always open, so you can feel free to jump into that anytime you want, according to the guidelines, of course. So very good. Other transitions within the office, we have a few of our staff members who are stepping back. Some of this is for kind of in response to the financial situation that all parishes and businesses are in at this time, and others have different life events or family needs going on as well. And so in total, um, we'll have four of our staff members stepping back from parish life, and it's going to be very sad to see them go because we've been working together. We've been working together for the past 2 years since I arrived, but they've been here at the parish for much longer than that, and so you may have a much longer connection with them. But who's leaving? You're asking. So Laura Keene has been working with us. She has been diligent in the office, working with our communications through the bulletin and various forms of announcement and volunteer coordination for liturgies and other things of that nature. Karen Stanton will be stepping back as well. She's been working in our finance department for a handful of years and is very, love her, very precise, very thorough, and has been an awesome team player in my time working with her. Peggy Wolney is going to be stepping back. She's so talented in so many different areas within office life. That'll be a big hole to fill, if you will, because of just the many niche projects that she would work on and assist with within the life of the office. And so we're going to be sad to see her go as well. And then Kathy Meyer in finance, she'll be stepping back for some family needs. And she's been a very new addition, but she has seen us through this COVID financial roller coaster, and her thoroughness and advice has been amazingly helpful. And so I think as a parish, we're in debt to her in a particular manner. So those staff members will be stepping back. Either they have already or they will be within the next several weeks. But just a big thank you to them and all that they've done for us, and looking forward to hearing how things unfold for them, from here on out, all of whom are parishioners of ours, members of our parish family. So we're looking for other ways to see them in the future. So say a prayer for them and for their next step in the journey. Very good. What's next? Other transitions, I guess, in connection with Father Domingo coming in, Father Juan going out, Father Tim and I considering a new priest within our parish family and leadership here at St. Peter and Paul. It's been a good opportunity for priest conversation and living arrangements and things that we want to prioritize and do as a local fraternity of priests within the parish. So say an extra prayer for us that everything settles into place well. We want to obviously welcome Father Domingo and make him feel at home here. So we've been busy making adjustments and kind of sprucing things up for him as he seeks to take residence here in the old convent across from the school. So that'll be good. So your prayers for our transition is going to be much appreciated. Very good. A couple of prayer opportunities. I've mentioned these a few times over the course of the past many weeks. The first is our daily rosary online. That's at 8:45. That's something that I've been doing, one for myself, obviously, but also to be praying with you. I know that we have several different groups in the parish that pray the rosary regularly when things are in normal session, and to be away from that is a big adjustment, especially in that connection of community and connection in prayer. I think one of our Monday evening rosary groups, they've been getting together for over 20 years, and for them not to be meeting together is a big shift. So wanting to make that available, but also wanting to have something available online that's approachable from your parish to your home for the sake of encouraging the prayer of the rosary within your family. The rosary has been something that whenever it comes up, I always seek to promote it call me a priest mama's boy, if you will, right? The Blessed Mother has been very present in my home as a child and through my discernment and years of training for the priesthood, and has always been exactly that heavenly spiritual mother and presence and intercessor within my journey of faith. So I want to continue to cultivate that devotion within the life of our parish family. After all, it's a prayer that she gave the human family for the sake of their focus on the mysteries of Christ's life, for the sake of their spiritual protection, and for the sake of the divine mysteries to kind of soak into our bones a little bit more profoundly, so that all that we live, say, and do reflects the life and light of Christ. So 8:45 a.m., thereabouts, a soft 8:45. So I do that right after the daily mass. Sometimes I get chatty and, it's, 8:50, but that's available online. And so you can listen to that obviously anytime after that completes. So that's how Facebook works. At the Facebook profile that's active on that is my personal Facebook page at Father Jeremy space Trowbridge. So feel free to search and view that. The second prayer opportunity was something that's inspired, one, by just the needs of our time, but especially in the wake of the past couple of weeks. There's an afternoon prayer I've been doing at 2 o'clock, again, Facebook Live on my page, called the Chaplet of Peace. And it's a shorter prayer. It's similar, let's just say this. It's a shorter prayer that has as its center body 7 different prayer petitions for peace. And these prayer petitions walk us from every individual person into marriage and family and community and nation and world and church, so that we can kind of dig into those areas. And there's actually something quite interesting that I've been noticing, that as we've been praying almost the past couple of weeks with that Chaplet of Peace, is that you begin to make connections on what is the cause of the disruption of peace, and how we are called to be advocates for peace through our Christian identity. A lot of times, peace just as a word, kind of growing up when I did, would always kind of harken back to, the flower power and all that stuff of the 60s and 70s, kind of that hippie peace sort of thing, this gushy whatever. But the substance of peace itself is something that's very central and critical to the message and to the life of Christ, within the individual person in a spiritual sense of health, as well as in the relationships that exist within the family, and how that reverberates into the wider community at hand. So I've had new insights into the posture of peace within the life of our regular spirituality just through doing this the past few weeks. But just to invite you, we have one more week. So I'll be praying that through the 24th of June, which is the feast of the Nativity of St. John the Baptist, and that'll be good. So it's a good time to let our brain rest a little bit, and orient ourselves in that prayer for peace. Those are prayer opportunities. And one final note of good news: we had our initial meeting today with all of our coordinators for First Communion. That's right. May 1st was supposed to be the day that our little ones received our Lord for the very first time, but we were very much in shutdown, sheltering in place pretty hard at that point. Still 3 weeks away from even considering any sort of opening. So we want to catch up and make sure our little kiddos, who have been preparing all year, obviously, to receive Holy Communion for the first time, through that delay, we want to make sure that we while we have this window in the summer. Who knows what the second wave is going to do, right? Who knows? But we want to make sure that our first communicants are able to celebrate in that time. So say an extra prayer that the wheels stay on the tracks within this crazy world of ours, and say a prayer of thanksgiving that we're able to move forward within our first communion planning. And if you are a first communion family, then keep your eye on that email. So you should be hearing something very soon about our plans and what lies ahead. That's all for me now. Thank you for your time and attention. Thank you for your prayers. Know of my prayers for you and for your intentions. If there's anything we can do for you, call or email. There's a little bit going on in the office, but we'll take care of it if you call in for us. And we hope that everything's going great. You guys stay well. Know of my prayers, and Saints Peter and Paul, pray for us. All right. God bless. Bye bye.